the translation of the Mulamadhyamakakarika of Nagarjuna. Chapter 1, Examination of Relational Condition. I pay homage to the fully awakened one, the supreme teacher who has taught the doctrine of relational origination, the blissful cessation of all phenomenal thought constructions. Therein, every event is marked by non-origination, non-extinction, non-destruction, non-permanence, non-identity, non-differentiation, non-coming into being, not going out of being. Verse 1. At nowhere and in no time can entities ever exist by originating out of themselves, from others, from both self or other, or from the lack of causes. Verse 2. There are 4 and only 4 relational conditions, namely, primary causal, appropriating or objectively extending, sequential or contiguous, and dominantly extending conditions. There is no 5th. Verse 3. In these relational conditions, the self-nature of the entities cannot exist. From the non-existence of self-nature, other nature too cannot exist. Verse 4. The functional force does not inhere relational conditions, nor does it not inhere them. The relational conditions, and vice versa, do not inhere the functional force, nor do they not inherit. Verse 5. Only as entities are uniquely related and originated can they be described in terms of relational conditions. For how can non-relational conditions be asserted of entities which have not come into being? Verse 6. Relational condition does not validly belong to either being or non-being. If it belongs to being, for what use is it? And if to non-being, for whose use is it? Verse 7. When a factor of experience does not evolve from being, non-being, nor from both being and non-being, how can there be an effectuating cause? Thus, such a cause is not permissible. Verse 8. It is said that a true factor of experience does not have an appropriating or objectively extending relational condition. If it does not exist, then again, wherein is this type of relational condition? Verse 9. It is not possible to have extinction where factors of experience have not yet arisen. In an extinguished state, for what use is a relational condition? Thus, the sequential or contiguous relational condition is not applicable. Verse 10. As entities without self-nature have no real status of existence, the statement, quote, from the existence of that, this becomes, close quote, is not possible. Verse 11. The effect, that is, arisen entity, does not exist separate from relational condition, nor together in relational condition. If it does not exist in either situation, how could it arise out of relational conditions? Verse 12. Now then, if non-entity arises from these relational conditions, why is it not possible that the effect, that is, arisen entity, cannot arise from non-relational conditions? Verse 13. The effect, that is, arisen entity, has the relational condition, but the relational conditions have no self-possessing natures. How can an effect, arising from no self-possessing natures, have the relational condition? Verse 14. Consequently, the effect, that is, the arisen entity, is neither with relational nor without non-relational condition. Since the effect has no existing status, wherein are the relational and non-relational conditions?